If you don't do something proactively, this isn't something where you can just leave things to their natural course. The natural course is like a funnel, and it's going to suck your money down into these three places. Hi friends, Colin Richards here, and once again, I am thrilled to be with you on this episode of the Colin Richards Show. And today we're going to be diving into a topic that is vitally important to you. It is so important that if you don't have this information and you don't act on it, you're going to be in dire financial straits. You say, Colin, that's kind of, aggressive language for you. Why are you so dialed up about this subject? Well, because I have seen mistakes made over and over that have destroyed wealth. And our goal right now is to maximize your wealth. As you know, if you've listened to our show or tuned into our podcast or YouTube channel, you know that we're all about financial freedom, retirement freedom. And we see people every day, just like you, who are concerned that the things going on in our world, events out of our control, are going to mess up our financial future. And so you know that Colin Richards specializes in developing a comprehensive plan so you can retire worry-free, carefree, to do the things that you love with the people that you love. Well, one of the most important things we can do is avoid simple errors that will destroy wealth. You see, you spent a lifetime in building and growing your nest egg. And the last thing we want to do is, through simple oversight, to lose a significant portion of that. And what I'm talking about today is specifically called out in the financial marketplace and media estate planning. But I don't want you to use that term, because here's the problem. Most people think that an estate is what you pass on when you die, right? Not while you're alive. So it's so easy to say, well, I'm feeling good, I'm in good health. And this tends to be one of those cans that people kick down the road, right? I'm not going to be able to poll my listeners, but my question would be, how many of you have a current plan to make sure that your wealth isn't destroyed by end-of-life events? And you've updated that on a regular basis, and you've made sure that your wealth is going where you want it to go. Now, estate planning is so much more, though, than end of life. You see, I like to call it financial life planning, because there's an aspect, yes, at the end of life, and we're going to talk about that today, that requires you to plan while you're healthy. If you don't plan while you're healthy, you're going to see your wealth destroyed at the end of your life. But there's also another aspect, which we'll deal with in future segments, that deals with the things you need to be doing right now to avoid the destruction of your estate. You see, your estate is what you own right now and what you will own in the future. And if you have the right view that, hey, my estate is what I have built up over the years, it's my hard-earned life savings, and you have that view, it's going to change something. It's going to change that tendency to procrastinate or to not worry about it. It's going to lead you to a desire to prevent your estate from being sacked by invaders, right? We know what happened to Rome, and we don't want our financial house sacked. Well, here's the problem. If you don't do something proactively, this isn't something where you can just leave things to their natural course. The natural course is like a funnel, and it's going to suck your money down into these three places, okay? Not necessarily in this order. The government, right? If you don't do some critical steps, and we're going to be talking about that in this series. So I really encourage you to tune in. And if you miss an episode on the radio, check us out on YouTube or on a podcast. But the government is the natural beneficiary of your money while you're living and when you die, both, not just when you die. Because if you don't take steps proactively to address what's going on with your money, the government is going to get way more than they deserve. I'm a patriotic American. I grew up in a military household. I'm grateful for my country and those who give their lives to preserve it. But I am not going to encourage my clients to pay one dime more than they're supposed to, right? How many of you, if there was a tip line right above your signature on your Form 1040, would write some amount in? You say, well, I kind of be crazy to do that, right? The government has to learn how to work on a budget. Well, they're still trying to figure that out. They're not even toddlers when it comes to financial management. So is that where your money needs to go. The next area is hospitals. Okay, hospitals. If you don't plan properly, you're going to leave an inordinate amount of money, both while you're living and at the end of life, to the hospital. And of course, one of the last ones is nursing homes. But did you know also there's a court, and we call it the probate court? It's really death court. And we're going to talk about that in our coming segments, because that's a natural place that even people who think they've planned and have a will, your money's going to end up there, and you don't want it to go there either. So if you don't do something proactively about this and change your mindset from this is death planning, estate planning, to life planning to preserve my assets while I'm alive and when I'm gone, then you're going to make some serious financial mistakes. But I'm here to help you, right? Because financial life planning really starts with this principle, okay? You need, if we're going to address this, to first look at things from an end-of-life view, and then we're going to shift to while you're healthy, okay? So today we're going to focus in on end of life, and you need certain documents to prevent financial disaster, both while you're living and when you pass that money on. It's not just about death. So what are those documents? Well, let's start with things that happen at end of life, or depending on your needs and situation, it could be if you are disabled. Okay, so let's talk about number one. What is the most important document? Well, I would submit to you it's not a will. It's not a trust. Those are important documents. But the most important is your advanced healthcare directive, healthcare powers of attorney, those types of documents. This is the worst document to leave out. If you leave anything out, don't leave out this document, because that is the worst decision you want to put into the hands of your loved ones. Should I sustain life? What are you going to say when your loved ones have to make a decision, right? Are you going to have a voice in advance so that you don't put all that pressure on them? Or are you going to put that pressure on them so they have to decide when the doctor comes and says, well, do you want us to do everything possible? Well, of course, they could do everything possible, but you might be more concerned about your loved one's quality of life, but you're torn because you don't want to be the person to, quote unquote, sentence them to death. This is very real, and I've watched it play out. You do not want this to happen to your loved ones. You must get an advanced healthcare directive. In our next couple of segments, we're going to talk about an additional several documents that you're going to need. And I'm going to try to finish those in a few segments, but just hang with me, folks, because this is vital information. And this is just one slice, a critical slice, but one slice of what you need to come see us about. It's called a retirement freedom review, because retirement encompasses your whole life, not just end of life, but your whole life. And we want you to know without any doubt that you have the carefree lifestyle that you deserve and you've worked so hard to earn. And you're going to have some things in place to do that. And so I'd love to have a conversation with you. Together with my team, we will help you develop a plan to become carefree, both financially and emotionally, in retirement. It simply starts with a phone call.